when I was out at ASSP here last week or so, and one of the number one topics was the point that you just hit on is workers being qualified to do the job because
Yes.
we've got this generational turnover, and then we've got this period of time. I'm in my 50s, but when I came through school, it was making that transition out of the emphasis to go into the trades and be a welder and be a plumber and be an electrician. And there was this big push to go to college, right? And get into get your degree, go into professional services, go into businesses, medical, whatever, healthcare, whatever. So there's a gap there, I think, in my generation of skilled laborers to replace the baby boomer generation who is retiring, right? So we're filling this gap. And we may be filling this gap um, with folks that aren't necessarily qualified or certified to do the job. So talk to me a little bit about how you guys go about making sure that that worker that's out there that's going to weld on that pipeline is qualified to weld on that pipeline before they weld on the pipeline.
Well, and that's a great point. And so one of our alliance contractors includes our inspection services. So we go to those guys and we challenge them to find these qualified, specifically welders. I would say I'd focus on that because that's one of the critical areas where we're really struggling. And what we don't do is lower our standards. Of course, they're regulatory driven and we go above and beyond the standards because we're talking about building an asset that's going to transport natural gas at high pressure. We build these assets to last 50, 60 years. So every weld is critical. So we start with the inspection company. We give them the criteria and we don't yield on, we don't pass somebody through if he's a B welder and we need an A welder. Well, we'll take a B welder. No, we can remediate them, put them through some training. If we see some promise, we do have processes for that. But if it's a C welder, we're not going to take the time. We can work with some that are close, but it's a challenge, as I said earlier, that everybody else is wanting them too. So you've got to get them. And then we're working with trade schools as well and trying to get in front of these guys while they're at trade schools and saying, hey, come to work for this inspection company or this contractor. And, here's a sign-on bonus, et cetera. So you got to kind of grab them when they're in school and making sure the schools understand the pipeline welding specs and what we really need for a good pipeline welder. It's not fabrication. It's not, housing welding. It's not bridge building. It's pipeline welding. And that's a different skill set. So
It's not
par-
production, it's mostly like quality, right? I mean, it's
exactly,
production, but it's quality is number one. Safety and
exactly.
quality are number one.